Today I'm back in the Azores, this time on the stupendously beautiful island of Flores, where I'm spending part of a day exploring with no real agenda. A few weeks back I published a video about my day cruising around San Miguel Island in the Azores on day 1 of this little mini adventure. So here now is day 2, and probably the most stunning day of this whole Atlantic island hopping adventure. Although the Faroe Islands, where I ended up a few days later, video also coming soon, put up some pretty good competition for that title too. Anyway, you be the judge. Flores Island, Azores, coming right up. Day 2, and it's time to go to Flores. As I publish the flight videos from this trip on the Flight Radar 24 channel, I will add the links to the description below for those of you who want more of the flying. Alright, we're in Flores now, the westernmost island of the Azores and the westernmost piece of Europe. But it's the part of the Azores that's actually on the North American tectonic plate, so it's kind of an interesting geographical border. Pretty nice flight, pretty uneventful, no service. That was surprising actually. I've got about 6 or 7 hours here, and then I gotta come back and take a flight back towards Ponta Delgada. It seems like they've put me onto the flight that goes straight back on the Dash 8 400 instead of the 200 that I was hoping to get via Horta. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And here I've got a much nicer rental car, the Citroen C4, which is kind of a cool looking car. I've been seeing it on the roads and wondering how it is, so it'd be cool to check it out. And let's see where I get to. I don't have much of a plan here for my 6 or 7 hours. Just gonna roam around, hopefully find some good stuff. I had to come back to the airport after realizing that every single little market around here was closed, including the gas station. I didn't have any water or anything, and I had to, of course, pick up more pastel de nata. What are you doing in any part of Portugal if you're not eating those? And a coffee, for good measure. Luckily, there's a cafeteria in the airport that's open, and something to know, if you come to Flores on a Sunday, a lot of stuff's going to be closed. Hopefully not everything, though. I'm hoping to get some lunch over on the west side of the island. Let's drive to Faja Grande, the westernmost village in Europe, so I'm told. Faja Grande is the westernmost village in Europe, politically speaking. If you go straight out that way, 2,000 miles, just a little over 2,000 miles, you reach Boston. It really is a remote spot out here and an amazing island with these steep cliffs and waterfalls coming down. Lost world kind of feeling. I'm gonna check out this village a bit, maybe get some lunch right here, then maybe go driving, slowly making my way back to the airport when I'll have to go back around 5 p.m. to Ponta Delgada and then to Lajes, Terceira Island, where I'm going to catch my flight to JFK tomorrow afternoon. Here we have this volcanic rock and then the deep blue sea, the most beautiful blue, typical of volcanic islands. It reminds me of when I flew to El Hierro in the Canary Islands. Very similar north-south runway on the east side of the island. It's also the furthest west in the Canaries in that case, and I drove out to the west and had a little day there back to the plane in the afternoon. Very similar in terms of how I'm doing it and the geography. Looks similar too, although this is just something else. El Hierro was dry. This is green, verdant, wet waterfalls. Flowers everywhere, as the name suggests. Flores. What a beautiful thing to name an island. Flowers. So, time for some lunch, and this seems the obvious spot to do it. They have incredible octopus here, fresh from the sea, garlicky and delicious. And then my main aim is just to drive around and find beautiful spots. I hear there are some amazing waterfalls, so let's see if I can locate at least one. Had a delicious lunch, some of the freshest octopus I've ever tasted. I guess just plucked right from the sea, and now drove just a few minutes up the road to a place someone just recommended to me on Instagram. Thank you, Lorenzo. I'm going a lot on this trip by recommendations I got on Instagram. Apparently this is a place where you get the full dose of waterfalls and Flores Island scenery. By the way, the lady at the rental car counter, who was super friendly, like most people I've met here in the Azores, warned me not to use Google Maps to find places, just to use the road signs, street signs. And apparently she's right, because Google Maps sent me to get to this place up a random little road that ended in a dead end, and it wasn't clear what I could do up there. I mean, it was a beautiful road like everything here, but yeah, actually the place to go was a little bit different, a little parking lot around the corner. So keep it in mind, they're correct when they say this. Don't trust Google Maps. We're about 50 meters into this path and it's already just gorgeous. Another enchanted forest of the Azores. This 600-meter walk is no joke. It's pretty steep uphill most of the way, but the forest is so beautiful, and you get this running water, this brook right next to you most of the time. So apparently the Azores is another one of these island chains that did not have any native population when the colonizers arrived, in this case Portuguese. You can kind of feel a little better about traipsing around it when you know it isn't on top of a subjugated or murdered indigenous population. It's nice that it feels well preserved here, not overrun, natural, and that they kind of sell it on that fact. The tourism board clearly knows what the appeal of this place is. But yeah, no native population. Portuguese have been here for hundreds of years. Need to fact check that, but I think it's correct. 500, 600 years. There are many Azoreans. Azorians, Azoreños, I don't know what to call them. Many people from the Azores originally living in New England, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Those people came over on whaling ships, apparently, and some of them migrated back here. I'm told that you can find people here with Boston accents, especially on Flores Island. I haven't run into one yet. It would be awesome to do that. Hola. Yeah, sí, sí. A lot of people coming up right now. It's fun to try and guess what language they might speak. Greet them in that language. I passed myself off as a French person before when a kid said bonjour to me. I said, bonjour, ça va? It sounded authentic. If I'd had to say anything else, I would have been busted. So the Azoreans that made it to New England, a lot of them came originally on whaling ships. This was a key place on the whaling trade route. Those ships would stop through here. A lot of Portuguese men, especially, got on those whaling ships to New England in the US and stayed there. And that's why you'll see a lot of flights traditionally from here, mostly from Ponta Delgada to places like Boston, Providence. I'm very glad to have come out here, flown the hour and 10 minutes from Ponta Delgada, only to have to go back again in a couple hours. Now, if I can figure out a spot to jump in the water, I think it's going to be worthwhile, especially because now I've worked up a sweat. So, and it's getting warmer. 28 degrees now, according to my car. Whew. I should probably focus on the steps I'm taking here. Also, there's 5G internet almost everywhere on this island, and the same in San Miguel. That's nuts. You can be out here in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean and well connected with fast data. Not to mention free roaming if you're European. It's pretty great. I am, as a result, Instagramming like crazy. You know, trying to experience the place, soak it in, not just film and post, but such is the life of a wannabe YouTuber, Instagram influencer like myself. Anyway, make sure to follow me on Instagram if you haven't. It's down in the description, always. Gably. And I'd love to have you over there too for more of a day-to-day adventure coverage. See what I'm up to. You could have a great day here just driving around aimlessly, stopping off at viewing spots like these. It's just so beautiful, and you almost always have some exotic flowers framing your shot. But here's a way to cap off your day in Flores nicely, and you can do it very easily before catching your flight, because this is just a few blocks from the airport. They've set up a little bathing area in the volcanic rocks so you can enjoy the sea without all the danger of getting killed by the current and said rocks. This was so refreshing and amazing. Alright, I guess it's time to go for a swim. I wish I had someone to watch my backpack. It's like a decision between bringing it down here or leaving it up there in the car. Always tricky with solo travel. And this water is frightening over here. Luckily, these little natural pools seem to be pretty relaxed, pretty calm, and a beautiful blue color. So nice. And I hope you enjoyed getting a little look at this volcanic Atlantic paradise. I'm thinking I might like to return to Flores one day, find a little cabin in the forest and lay low for a week. Thanks for coming along.